Okay. Good morning, everyone. So nice to see you. Welcome to all of our commissioners who are here with us today by Zoom, and to anyone else who may be viewing this live or archived conversation. My name is Heather Deering, and I am the Deputy Chief of Staff to Lieutenant Governor Coleman and staff to the Kentucky Commission on Women. I'm pleased to be here today for our third Kentucky Commission on Women Conversation with Commissioner series. The Kentucky Commission on Women was established in 1968 by Governor Louis Nunn by executive order, and then became an official state agency in 1970 through legislative action. After a period of dormancy, the commission has been reactivated and has been working hard the past several years to reestablish themselves as a catalyst for improving and elevating the status of women and girls in Kentucky. Our commissioners are an incredible and diverse group of women from all corners of the Commonwealth, and I'm so excited to introduce you to some of them who are on the call today. Today with us, commissioners from the Commission on Women include Chrysanthia Carr-Seals, Ann Perkins, Christine Thompson, Judy Handcamp, and our chairwoman, Marita Willis, who will also be our host for today's conversation. Thank you for joining us today, and also to our guests who we will introduce soon. Last year, we launched this Conversations with Commissioners series, a live streamed virtual conversation between commissioners and guests on a topic or theme that we feel is important to women in the Commonwealth. We have special guests who are knowledgeable or experts in an area to present information and open it up for questions from our commissioners. The theme, the guests, and our commissioner host changes each conversation. And before I hand it over to the host of today's conversation, our chairwoman, Marita Willis, I would like to note that the views expressed in today's presentation or in any material shared today are those of the speakers and not necessarily of the Kentucky Commission on Women or the administration, and their presence does not constitute or imply an endorsement of their views. But lucky for us, we have a state agency with us today, so we're really excited to hear what you all are doing. So Commissioner and Chairwoman Marita Willis, I will be handing it over to you now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Heather. I'm excited to hear about this conversation with our special guest from the Martin Luther King Jr. State Commission. So I am so excited that we're here today to talk about Juneteenth in Kentucky and the Martin Luther King Jr. State Commission. As you can see, I'm wearing my Juneteenth button, so I'm very, very excited. Earlier this year, during Women's History Month, the commission published a report called Women in Kentucky. It included data about women and girls in the Commonwealth in the areas of population, electoral representation, educational attainment, workforce participation, and health. This report can be accessed on the commission's website at women.kentucky.gov/stats. And I mention this report because we like to start all of our conversations with commissioners with some contextual data, so allow me to share some of that information. Kentucky is home to approximately 2,275,000 people. Women and girls make up approximately 50.5% of the Commonwealth's population. Of that percentage, 8.4% are African-American women, and 2.3% report their ethnicity as other. African-American women in Kentucky have made an indelible mark on our state's history, yet are often overlooked or unrecognized for their impact. We're still there. One place where they are not overlooked is in the Kentucky Women Remembered exhibit, which can be found in the state capitol. It includes women like you might already know, like Senator Georgia Davis Powers, Bell Hooks, or Lonnie Ali. But it also includes women like Lucy Harth Smith, who is an educator instrumental in having textbooks about African-American history placed in Kentucky's public schools. Anna Clark, who broke both gender and racial barriers along the first African-American women from the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps to become commander of an all-white unit. Or Doris Wilkerson, who was the first African-American student to graduate from the University of Kentucky following the Brown versus Board education decision, and went on to become the first full-time African-American female faculty member at the University of Kentucky. It is because of women like them that we must have conversations that we're engaging in today. Now, as many of you may know, Juneteenth commemorates the day of June 19, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger led Union soldiers in Galveston, Texas, bringing news that slavery in the United States had ended by executive decree. And despite it having been issued 2.5 years later, President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation only then came into force, freeing the enslaved in Western Texas. In 2021, Juneteenth was made a national holiday by virtue of the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act. It is the first new holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. became a federal holiday nearly 4 decades ago. At least 28 states and the District of Columbia currently observe Juneteenth as a holiday. And earlier this month, on May 23rd, our own Governor Andy Beshear declared Juneteenth as a state executive branch holiday to give thanks in the Commonwealth. The governor signed an executive order declaring that, bringing this year, each June 19th shall be observed in Kentucky as Juneteenth National Day of Freedom. The governor's action came after General Assembly did not enact legislation during 3 previous legislative sessions that would have made Juneteenth a state holiday. On the same day, the governor also signed an executive order that expand protections in state harm and in employment, prohibiting discrimination based on traits historically associated with race, including, but not limited to, natural hair texture and protective hairstyles, such as braids, locks, and twists. During the event recognizing these 2 actions, the governor said that Kentucky must continue to work toward creating a more equitable and just Commonwealth, while recognizing the horrors of slavery and its legacy. And that recognition of Juneteenth reflects the Commonwealth's resounding belief in liberty and equity for every citizen. I remember working with a group of young girls at Kentucky Derby Festival when they were working on passing the Crown Act. So to see all of that come to fruition when the governor signed that order is great. So while it might be a few days after Juneteenth, we felt it was still important to have this conversation, which is why we are so excited to have with us today Megan Bailey, a commissioner on Kentucky's Martin Luther King State Commission, and Tressa Brown, who staffs the commission, to introduce themselves and tell us more about what their commission does. Ladies, I hand it over to you all, and thank you.
Thank you, Marita. Tressa, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Sure. I'm Tressa Brown, and I do coordinate the Martin Luther King Jr. State Commission, as well as the Kentucky African American Heritage Commission and the Kentucky Native American Heritage Commission, all of which are administered through the Kentucky Heritage Council, and our office is in Frankfort.
Thank you, Tressa. I will take the time to do my introduction and then go right into conversation. So that's why I did it that way. I'm elated to be with everyone this morning. Good morning, no matter where you're watching from. It is so exciting to be with you all, to be able to speak about Juneteenth, and there will be an additive of conversation about the 8th of August as well. I am a native of Nashville, Tennessee, but I've been here in Bowling Green for so many years at this point. Bowling Green is absolutely my home. I met my husband here and have been married for almost 12 years. I had my children here, and we are raising our family here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I've been all over the state. Thankful to be in a position where I've had to travel. And so it has allowed me to see so many parts of this beautiful state. And I do not take that for granted. I am a 2019 graduate of Western Kentucky University, go Tops. And I have a degree in communication studies and music liberal arts. Currently, I am studying for a master's in organizational communication from, again, Western Kentucky University, and intend to graduate in May of 2026. I serve as a minister here. I was a former teacher in Warren County Public Schools. And so I've been around. I found myself needing to place my anger in 2020 with the senseless death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I found myself needing to place my anger somewhere productive. And that's what brought me to my current position as community organizer for Southern Kentucky, for Kentuckians for the Commonwealth. I needed to place that anger into something that was going to be progressive, something that was going to actually change Kentucky, somewhere where I would be able to voice my opinions, but also have things be better for my friends, for my community. It was important that they live and not just exist. So that changed me from being a teacher to being an organizer, and which is a lot of the same work, right? You're still teaching, you're still helping people to become knowledgeable about particular topics. And so I'm thankful for the position that I am in. It wasn't too long after I took that position that I was then appointed to the Martin Luther King Commission. So I was very thankful for that appointment. And I bring you greetings from the Dr. Martin Luther King State Commission, where our chairperson is Kevin Russell. We are thankful that you all have invited us into this space. The Martin Luther King State Commission is composed of members appointed by the governor from diverse backgrounds throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky, including persons associated with the labor industry, government, civil rights, education, youth organizations, sports, fine arts, and entertainment. Our mission is to promote the annual MLK holiday each January as an occasion to reflect on the principles of racial equality and nonviolent social change as embraced by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Encourage appropriate ceremonies and activities relating to the King holiday. Promote community service in honor of the principles taught by Dr. King. Provide advice and assistance to any local governments and private organizations with respect to observance of the King holiday. Promote the holiday for multicultural cooperation and youth anti-violence initiatives. Whereas we honor the mortal man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who made the ultimate sacrifice April 4th, 1968. Therefore, it is the Commission's intention to promote unity, equality, and justice for all people in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the United States, and throughout the world. This year, we are joining forces with a number of local organizations, such as this one, to endorse, celebrate, and help promote awareness of the Juneteenth holiday. Although our primary mission is to promote the MLK holiday, we are also here to assist with other occasions that reflect on the principles of racial equality and nonviolent social change. If you or your organization, for those that are watching, would like to partner with the Commission or have the Commission assist you in any of your events, please feel free to reach out. Tressa has already introduced herself. I'm available as well. We would be more than happy to accommodate you in your needs. As we come to today's conversation, I'm very thankful to be able to talk about a holiday that we just celebrated a week ago, a little over a week ago, and that would be Juneteenth. There's already been a little bit of information shared about Juneteenth, and hopefully this information as an additive will help to enhance the conversation. So referred to as Freedom Day, or you might hear it referred to as Jubilee Day, or even Black Independence Day. June 19th, 1865, better known as Juneteenth, was the day that enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, were told that legalized slavery had been abolished. This was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863, as that proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are and henceforward shall be free. History will tell us that the space of time between the proclamation itself and the sharing of that information was held up in Confederate reluctance and hatred. Being that as it may, Juneteenth being proclaimed in Galveston, Texas, unfortunately did not free all of the slaves across the country. That did not officially occur until December of 1865. Juneteenth is not merely a celebration of freedom. And now I'm going to get on my soapbox. Juneteenth is not merely a celebration of freedom. Juneteenth is a time for communities to reflect. It's a time for communities to learn and to understand the truth behind the history of this nation in relation to its African American citizens. For African American communities, it's a time to feel proud of who we are and the strength of our people, even in the terror they endured. We are resilient people, which is where our pride comes from, who rise regardless of the weight that was placed on us involuntarily. In this, cities across America and right here in our beloved Kentucky recognize the day with a myriad of programs and festivals, church services and barbecues, loves and hugs as we join together to progress the idea of freedom, unity, while lifting our ancestors that could have only dreamed about a day when we would all sit together in the same spaces. Now, this is where I'll take the time to pause and jump off of one soapbox onto another. I'll urge us in this moment not to allow this holiday to be commercialized solely for profit, right? Or for the look of interest in diversity. We recognize that in 2020, so many things opened up, so many eyes were open, so many people saw, they saw the racial inequality and they wanted to do something about it. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to take these holidays and turn them into a fly-by-night moment. We don't want to take these holidays and turn them into, okay, June 19th, Juneteenth, we're going to celebrate today, and we're not going to take the time to learn the history. We're not going to take the time to educate ourselves in exactly what that day means. And so we don't want to look at Juneteenth as a moment just solely for making profit or looking as though we care about diversity. There's nothing impressive about celebrating the day as a surface level action. There's nothing impressive about celebrating the day as solely a surface level action. To be on the right side of history. You're not doing anybody a favor by celebrating simply to be on the right side of history. We need to note the depth of the day, the depth of slavery itself, slavery in this country, the way in which it impacted the individuals that endured it, and those that are those that are born from that space. Those like myself that have that in their lineage. The ways in which so many things in our nation still need to change as America's institutions still fail to protect its African American citizens. What we realize is that that form of slavery has ended, but it only revamped itself into the institutions that America carries into the ways of the justice systems, the ways in which African American families don't have the same opportunities all the time, or don't always have the same avenue to be able to obtain the things that our counterparts are able to obtain. And so we recognize that it's still not perfect. It's still not a perfect nation. It's still not a perfect place. We recognize that things still need to change and things still need to progress. And so when we're celebrating Juneteenth, while we're celebrating that freedom, we also need to recognize that we're not all the way there, that there's still much more freedom to obtain. And that we have a part, we have a responsibility in making sure that we continue to progress. We have a responsibility in making sure that we continue to bring to light the truth of what happened. While there's a ton of miscommunication out here, we're responsible for making sure that we carry the truth of Juneteenth and share that with each and every person that we come in contact with, that we teach our youth exactly what Juneteenth means. Juneteenth is not solely in the festivals, though those things are wonderful, and I certainly attend those programs. But Juneteenth is more. It's more. It's about truly celebrating who we are, having pride in being Black, having pride in knowing that my ancestors carried so much weight so that I could sit here and talk to you all today. And they did it it was involuntary that they did what they did, and that they still showed so much strength and resilience, even in the face of so much harm. And so I was really appreciative to be able to be around other organizers on Juneteenth, and an organizer said something that really stuck out to me, and I felt like it was imperative that it was mentioned in this comment today, in this conversation today. But she stated that Juneteenth is not an excuse for white corporations or organizations to simply partner with Black organizations or corporations in the name of diversity. But like Martin Luther King Jr. Day and even fairness, Juneteenth has been swept up by racial capitalism and spit back out to us at double the price and a fraction of the impact. So we don't want to lose the importance of what Juneteenth means. We don't want to lose the importance of the weight of the day. While we're celebrating, we want to remember. While we're educating, we want to make sure that we remember, and that we hold that we sit with that we sit with those nasty truths. And it has to be okay for us to be able to sit with that and then progress forward. One thing that was introduced to me when I moved here to Kentucky was something called the 8th of August. This will be a slight transition, as the 8th of August is in the same vein. It's the same vein as Juneteenth. 8th of August is not necessarily celebrated throughout the entire nation. It is it's located here in Kentucky, Western Kentucky, Paducah, Northern Tennessee, so that Clarksville area, and then ironically in Knoxville. It has a number of different origin stories. One being that who would then be President Andrew Johnson had freed his slaves on the 8th of August. And so that's how it begun. There's other stories that speak about slavery ending in Haiti. And then that's where it begun. But what we do know is that it's a celebration that begun in 1860, in the 1860s. So 1868 is when the 8th of August begun. And it is also celebrated with festivals and programs and barbecues and family reunions. And as I did my research on the 8th of August, I saw frequently that it was called a homecoming. A homecoming is where you're able to come back to your roots, and you're able to feel free. You're loved. You're cared for. You're seen. That's a big one. You're seen. People come from all over the nation. They come right back here to Kentucky. I know that it's a huge celebration in Russellville. It's a huge celebration in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. That's Christian County and Logan County. It's a huge celebration in Paducah. And they come from everywhere. People come up from Georgia and Alabama. They come down from Ohio, from Indiana. They come home. They come home and they celebrate not only the freedom, but they celebrate the accomplishments. They celebrate the accomplishments of those African American individuals in their communities that went above and beyond. Those African American individuals in their communities that broke barriers. Those African American members of their community that broke through that glass ceiling and kept going. The 8th of August allows an opportunity for us to come together, just as Juneteenth is also a day for us to come together and really reflect on who we are as a people, reflect on where we come from, where our roots lie. It allows us to take in all the quality of being Black, all the quality of being Black, and it allows us to be able to share together those moments, those opportunities that we're able to forward each other in those spaces. And so to not take up too much more of the time today, I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak to you all today. Certainly there is much more information. Google is a wonder, right? There's a ton of information on Google, but there are also wonderful books such as this one called On Juneteenth. I do not have a problem with going in and really taking the time to break down and study these traditions, because a lot of them are new to us, right? A lot of them were not reflected throughout our communities. None of it was taught in our education system. I never heard about Juneteenth growing up. Not in school. Never heard about the 8th of August until I was an adult and I moved here. And so it's important that we take the time to dig as we recognize that education is being attacked. We take the time to dig and that we take the time to share. That's our responsibility to do. That's our responsibility to uphold. That's our responsibility to carry, so that the younger generations understand exactly where they come from, who they are, and whose they are. Thank you.
Megan, you are phenomenal, 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 phenomenal. And just that short time, how you educated us. And before you even said it, I wrote down, it is a day for us, especially as Black folk. If we want them to recognize us, let's recognize ourselves. Let's say, take what you know, even if it's just a look. Take what you know, share that with your family, share that with your friends, share that with your neighbors, share that with your white counterparts, because this is about all of us and we all have to do it and we have to do it together. And it is new to us. And that whole education component. My aunt lived in Indianapolis and her kids always say I was her child. She used to say, let's go to Hopkinsville, because they celebrate August 8th with a big party. So I went, it was years ago, not understanding, and I understand it more today than I ever did. I know our time is at an end. If you could get some of that information, if you could get that to Heather, she'll get that out to us. I know we don't have time for Q&A, but if we do have Q&A, or if you can tell us quickly, if there's one thing we can do collectively or individually to help celebrate the MLK Day, that we're still in its infancy stage, although it's been 4 decades ago, of understanding what that means. Because some corporations give it to you as a holiday or an option. So it is not, I don't like to say everything Black is about Marita's Gotta Talk. our white counterparts have to support that also, because we support them, but that's building trust among that group. So if you can leave us with one parting word, Heather, I know we're a little over, but if you can leave us with one parting word of how we can engage, support, or help with the MLK Day, that will be great. And to all the commissioners on here, thank you all so much and have a great weekend. So I'm turning it back over to you, Megan, and then Heather will close it out.
Thank you so much. So the MLK Commission typically does what we've been doing, an oratorical competition. We've been coming together and allowing young people and college age individuals to write or draw or do art surrounding Martin Luther King. It's also important that we make sure that we're just educating, like as we learn, that we share that information. Right, like as the commission and as Martin Luther King committees across the state and even across America take the time to put together these programs, that we make sure that we're sharing each other's information so that we can be supportive, so that we can show up, because there's still so much information that's not known, even about Martin Luther King himself. Like so many quotes that I've learned in my adult years that I said, he said that, like they didn't push that quote. They pushed the other quotes, but not this one. It's important that we make sure that we're supporting each other and that we're sharing each other's information. This is a new world, right? Like sharing information is not that difficult. So that's the least we could do, is when a program comes up, that we actually make sure that we're sharing it across our spaces, so that people can show up and so that people can be supportive and learn. So I know that the MLK Commission will have a program, but all of that's not necessarily set in stone yet.
We have now met each other, so let's keep each other informed of those things. As the Kentucky Commission on Women, we would be very interested in supporting, if it's part of our mission, but how we get the word out and partnering with you on any way that we possibly can. So I see there's a couple of things in the chat. I don't know, Heather, if you want to quickly go over those.
It's just a few comments from commissioners about Ashland has opened a Black History Museum. That Commissioner Ann Perkins put that in the chat. It's a beautiful place and it has just celebrated its first year. Thank you for sharing that. And I actually will use that as an opportunity to transition and say, one of the things that I've been really excited about on our conversations with commissioners is we've been able to feature state agencies that we didn't even necessarily know are doing this work. And so I'm excited about the fact that we're sharing outwardly more of what the Commonwealth is doing. And frankly, I look forward to a formal partnership with the commissions somehow in the future. I think there's a lot of opportunity for overlap and supporting and collaborating. So I'm excited. Yeah, all three commissions, Tressa, really good point. We've got a big agenda, right? So I'm honored to work in a Commonwealth that create space for commissions like this. And I'm looking forward to our future partnership. So I'm going to wrap it up with just a couple of final comments. Obviously, this was a phenomenal session today. I really appreciate, Megan, the things that you've taught me. I didn't know anything about the 8th of August until we talked earlier this week, and I'm excited to learn more, and thank you for sharing. So thank you to the commissioners who took the time out today to join us this morning. Our next conversations with commissioners is scheduled for August. The specific date, time, topic will all be posted as soon as we get that confirmed. And if you're interested in keeping up with any future meetings or events of the commission, you can sign up through our contact us page on our website, which is women.ky.gov. And you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. So thank you for your time this morning to everyone. Look forward to more conversations, and we'll see you soon.